So,
much later on in the bulletin tonight, we will be understanding the fact that Uganda has finally been declared Ebola-free. What does this mean for the country at large? We answer that and so much more. Welcome to this edition of NBS Live at 9. I am Isabella Tugume.
and I am Kanara Mgume, but first, these are the top stories you should expect tonight.
The headlines brought to you by...
Now available in the new look of the Radiant Hair Relaxer with herbal extracts and no base formula. Radiant. Look good. Feel great.
On NBS Live at 9 tonight, life returns to Mubende as Uganda is finally declared Ebola-free.
The outbreak is over and Uganda is now free.
Government hit by severe budget cuts. Many sectors lose out.
This is going to be one of the major impacts. We will not be able to pay wage.
Also tonight, we ask, is Kampala a ghost city?
Wait for 10 years when this country will be in a quagmire.
Residents ponder lack of representation by leaders.
You must determine people by their character.
The headlines brought to you by...
Now available in the new look of the Radiant Hair Relaxer with herbal extracts and no base formula. Radiant. Look good. Feel great.
Hello, we welcome you to this edition of NBS Live at 9. I am Isabella Tugume with Kanari Mugume. Fear lingers following the possible closure of Kira Motors Corporation after the Ministry of Finance failed to allocate it any funds according to the budget framework paper for the financial year 2023-2024. This was after the Minister for Science, Innovations and Technology, Dr. Monica Msenero, told the committee that failure to allocate resources to Kira Motors will automatically mean the closure of a government entity.
We shouldn't fear.
The Minister for Science, Innovation and Technology, Dr. Monica Msenero, on Wednesday led a team of entities under her docket to appear before the Presidential Affairs Committee to provide the breakdown of their budget framework paper for the next financial year 2023 to 2024. It was in this interface that the minister told the committee that Kira Motors Corporation, one of the government entities under her docket, had not been allocated any funds by the Ministry of Finance in the next financial year, something that will affect the operations of the sector.
I think it will be a gross error. It will be a gross error for us to, because what that means is that they won't have even salaries for staff, so we have to disband the whole thing.
The angered legislators who questioned the motive behind the non-allocation of resources to the corporation, whose products have already started hitting the road, hence summoning the Minister for Finance for an explanation.
And we are very surprised as a committee that the government is not able to put money into the entity. And that is why, as a committee want to meet with the Minister of Finance. And at the same time, the committee also want to meet with the Attorney General. And then we have a discussion with them. We want to find out what is the problem.
And I think should be a concern not only us, the committee members, but to all Ugandans, because this is a baby for science and technology.
The committee has also been surprised to learn that there is an agreement signed between government and one investor as the only supplier of buses to Kampala Capital City Authority, whose identities remain unknown.
He went and told the president that he had his $500 million, not from government, but $500 million, that he would be able to use that to produce the buses the KCCA and all the need.
Just Kampala needs over 9,000 buses. Just Kampala City. And none of these entities alone will have capacity to make such buses in a short time.
To the officials, the agreement bars Kira Motors or any other company from supplying buses in Kampala.
What has now happened is that from that time, which I think 2018, 19, that 500 million has not shown up. Yeah, it's nowhere.
The terms of the agreement have already been violated. Many times, the number of things he was supposed to do by even June last year they have not yet been done.
Maybe we shall ask him to clarify on that issue so that we can get a clear line on that really. Because there is no, you can stop a government baby from growing and we import a baby from somewhere else.
Now, all of a sudden, this person is even nowhere to be seen. He's not bringing the buses. It seems from their behind check, they have investigated, he's not even manufacturing those buses. So generally, I think he gave a hoax.
Jackie Mutasi, Sam Ibanda Mugabe, NBS Live at 9.
Government is to spend a bulk of its domestic revenue, nearly 60.7%, on debt servicing and amortization in the next financial year. This as government cuts the budget for the Ministry of Tourism and its entities by 70% in the coming financial year, from 194 billion shillings to 89 billion shillings.
The Ministry of Tourism has had its budget slashed to 89.2 billion shillings in the allocations for the next financial year 2023-2024 from 194.68 billion shillings.
So this is going to be one of the major impacts. We will not be able to pay wage. Now with these cuts, the budget for Uganda Tourism Board has reduced from 26 billion to 4 billion, and this is impractical and completely contradicts the government's focus on promoting and marketing the country's tourism offerings. So it also does not consider the additional wage allocation.
Officials told the committee that these allocations will see game rangers become poachers after losing their jobs, since the budget allocations cannot allow them to pay salaries.
Because if you are going to send home rangers who will become poachers, isn't it? Then it means that the ministry did not, I think, put enough understanding and work on the figures properly.
The budget ceiling of 4.3 is less than the current salary ceiling wage that we have. So we'll not even have enough to pay salaries.
The Ghana Wildlife Education Centre officials, headed by David Kasumba, told the legislators that the 1.9 billion shillings accorded to them cannot even afford food for the animals, which requires more than 2.4 billion shillings. These are worried that they might turn into food for these species.
Because it can't even cover the cost of feeding animals alone. For our current cost for feeding the animals is 2.5 billion. So we appeal to the committee take this matter seriously so that the budget is raised.
You cannot pay salaries and you cannot feed animals.
Yeah.
I don't know what you are planning to do. Just like UA, you may become the food for the animals.
You also talk to your colleagues. Really, this is a real fight. Otherwise, Uganda will lose it. We don't know about oil. There are so many stakeholders who are interested in oil, including the global powers. So me, I'm not looking at oil. I'm actually looking at tourism and coffee.
Shamim Nawakoza, NBS Live at 9.
The World Health Organization has finally declared Uganda Ebola-free after close to 4 months of battling the virus. The announcement was made in Mubende, the epicenter of the epidemic. Our health reporter, Henry Mjeni, was on ground and filed this report.
Uganda's Health Minister, Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, made the official declaration along with the World Health Organization on Wednesday after a new case was registered in the last 42 days.
I now confirm that all transmission chains have been fully interrupted and take this opportunity to declare that the outbreak is over and Uganda is now free of active Ebola transmission. For God and my country.
Allow me, Honorable Minister, to take this duty of confirming that the Ebola outbreak is over in Uganda.
We join the government of Uganda to declare the end of the Sudan Ebola virus outbreak in the country less than 4 months after the first case was confirmed in the Central District of Mubende on the 20th of September 2022.
The outbreak that started in the central region, announced on 20th September 2022, was one of the deadliest Ebola outbreaks in history in a period of close to 4 months.
In this outbreak, a total of 143 confirmed cases of Ebola, with 22 probable cases and 55 deaths have been reported, with a case fatality rate of 39%. 87 recoveries have been registered in this outbreak. Of the 143 confirmed cases, 85, that is 59%, were males.
The most recent outbreak had spread through the capital city to parts of eastern Uganda, but was able to be managed in a short period of time. The minister has called on the population to remain vigilant and continue to observe the hygiene measures to avoid the resurgence of Ebola.
My ministry, working with local and international partners, continue to look for the most possible and proximal source of the current outbreak.
The current transmission has actually ended, so we think all the virus that moved out of the jungle, we think it has been wiped out of the population and out of saturation. But this doesn't mean that the Ebola virus in the jungle is out.
Overcoming one of the world's most dangerous pathogens in heart-rich communities clearly demonstrates what solidarity and science can do when they come together. Henry Mugenyi, Nbs Live at 9.
The Ministry of Finance has released 6.3 trillion shillings for the third quarter of the 2022-2023 financial year. According to the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, the 264 billion shillings that has been released for the parish development model will only be accessed by parishes that have put in place the necessary structures.
The Ministry of Finance has released 6.3 trillion shillings for the third quarter, representing 24.5% of the total discretionary budget. Of this, about 1.8 billion shillings will cover for the wages of civil servants between January and March 2023. A total of 2.5 billion shillings will cover for the non-wage bill, and approximately 2 billion shillings will be used for government development, while 31.8 billion shillings has been released to cater for domestic areas. According to the Secretary to the Treasury, Ramadan Gobi, education, health, agriculture strengthening, among others, have been allocated funds.
We have provided 122.4 billion shillings to national medical stores for the purchase of essential medicines and drugs.
Gobi, however, said that much as the parish development model funds have been released, only the parishes that are ready will utilize the monies.
And so far, 8,931 parishes have been ticked as ready and have received the money. They are continuing to receive that money.
Civil society organizations, however, raised various concerns, including the delayed payment of salaries to the civil servants despite the timely releases.
What could be the problem? I think that's very, very critical for us to understand and be able to release this information.
We see in some areas the cost of construction prices are very high than in Kampala.
In response, the Permanent Secretary to the Treasury requested all accounting officers to ensure timely payments of salaries and wages, as well as the prepayments for the utilities.
Officers must prioritize payment of service providers on time and avoid accumulation of arrears. As you've heard, we have released all the money for domestic arrears we had programmed. I don't want more arrears, please.
On the macroeconomic performance, the Minister of Finance is proud of the strength of the Ugandan shilling, the growth of the private sector credit, reduction of inflation from 10.6% in November 2022 to 10.2% in December 2022, which, among others, will put the country back to the path of recovery to the 6% historical growth averages. Hakim Wampamba, NBS, Live at 9.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has confirmed the approval of 6 billion shillings to scale up the saving culture with NSSF under 5 areas. Despite ongoing investigations, the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Gender have given hope to Ugandans that their money is safe, the reason they should engage in the enforcement of the new NSSF law.
According to statistics from the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority, Uganda's workforce stands at about 15 million Ugandans. Of this, only about 1.3 million serve with NSSF, with many retiring into absolute poverty.
With all our industrial park, with all our plantations, with all our construction works, where they are employing workers, we are still only having 51% complying to contribute the funds. It means that 49% of employers are not remitting to the NSSF contributions, their contributions and workers' contributions to the fund.
Whereas the president assented to the NSSF law in 2022, the figure has not changed, with compliance of employers standing at only 51%. This has prompted the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to expedite and breathe life into the NSSF law with 5 priority areas.
To achieve this, the NSSF must grow to at least 30% of our GDP from the current 12%.
To this effect, 6 billion Ugandan shillings has been approved by the Gender Ministry for financial year 2023-2024 to scale up compliance and expand the social security coverage to about 15 million Ugandans by 2025.
Out of the 220 billion for operations, I indicated that allocate 6 billion for activities to drive the implementation of the new law with the target of expanding coverage and ensuring compliance.
This scale-up comes at a time NSSF is grappling with pending investigations into mismanagement of the savers' funds in the real estate portfolio. In response, the acting executive director, Patrick Ayota, has assured the public on safety of their funds.
If any of you know anything about investments, the safest investments you can place your money in are government securities. That is a given. So we are very, very proud that we can hold a huge chunk of Uganda government securities because actually it assures the safety of member funds.
Whereas the line ministries, that of gender and finance, could be on the right trajectory of inculcating the saving culture amongst the Ugandan citizenry, the continuous slow uptake of this particular scheme should be further investigated. More to this, the 6 billion shillings that has been allocated for this particular enforcement has not been clearly further broken down. It's therefore imperative on us, and only a matter of time, to further question who is getting what, how, where, and specifically for what reasons this money shall go into. Olivia Nakalembe, Nbs Live at 9.
Many thanks, Olivia, for that report. Kampala's elected leaders are on the spot, with many said to have faded in the dim light since elections, with little or no trace at all. In the capital city, considered fairly represented and yet getting swallowed up with its problems, one wonders where its representatives could be, since only a few are seen or even heard. Victoria Bagaya has more.
Kampala is among the lucky constituencies many say is fairly represented, with over 10 members of parliament cutting across the 5 boroughs of Kampala, including Central, Kawempe, Makindye, Nakawa and Rubaga divisions, with a total number of 54 leaders at the local council level. The 2021 general elections saw a change of guard, with 9 out of the 10 MPs hailing from one party, the National Unity Platform NUP, and of the 54 councillors, 42 are from the NUP, 3 from FDC, with the ruling NRM having the least number of representatives. But with all this representation and a change in leadership, Kampala's problems remain constant, if not escalating, with many asking where the mass of this leadership could be.
I think we need them to add their voice. It is lacking. We normally see them acting on media stations, but we want to see them coming physically, holding issues physically.
I've never been immature in politics. My politics has been clear. I've been vouching for a better budget for this city. for all the years I came in. And I told them, you might ignore it today, but it will come to bite.
The leaders who could come up to counteract, to represent people with a voice of reason, people who can debate policies, people who can debate against bad plans of evicting people. Some of us are out of parliament.
The councillors point at the members of parliament as the movers of the puzzle, while the MPs insist they are delivering on their mandate. Hakim Kiza Saula, a councillor of Lubya Parish in Lubaga North, says the MPs have not done enough.
Everyone in Kampala is talking about potholes. And you know that in the coming budget, 2023-24, KCCA did not receive any single coin in the engineering department. And you want these potholes to be handled or to construct more roads entirely. And you don't come up to help to increase the budget of KCCA. So what do you want me to do as a road councillor? It is your role.
Kiza says Kampala is fortunate to have leaders competent in various fields and others chairing committees of influence, and yet some of Kampala's biggest issues remain unsolved. He adds that even the most of the active MPs have to do more.
Because all these people belongs to different committees in Parliament. For example, Honorable George Senyonyi, the representative of Nakawa West, is the head COSASE. And we have had challenges here, accountability issues. We would invite him to intervene.
Meanwhile, two of the constituencies, Makindye West and Kawempe North, have not had representation for over a year. Elsewhere, the only woman representative, Shamim Malede, is off seeking health care after her health suddenly deteriorated. Joel Senyonyi of Nakawa West, who's at the helm of COSASE, appears to have made a great impact in his COSASE inquiries, though it is not clear how much he has contributed for his people in terms of raising their issues in the House. But where are the rest?
How many times have I talked about the role of technology in this country? How many times have you aired it? Wait for 10 years when this country will be in a quagmire as a result of failure to embrace technology. You will come back to this interview. Quote this.
Mohammed Nsereko of Kampala Central Division says the city's issues are a cocktail of problems that can be addressed, but points to a lack of political will from government.
I think we did that during the budgetary process when we warned the whole country. So for those that failed to pay attention during that time, this is what you reap. Now you're facing the reality of what you avoided.
That aside, some are questioning the caliber of leaders who are elected to represent this great city, since it has been said of some were last heard of the day they saw in.
The people of Kampala can come up and really, when it comes to elections, vote in favor of people with the voice of reason. We are now surviving with almost about 30%, not even more than 30% of the people representing Kampala at Parliament, at the level of the division urban councils, but also at the KCCA, the authority council. We have only 30% of them that can be relied upon.
Kasbanti adds that the city also has a political contestation element involved.
Let me tell you the tactic of NRM government, and people just, for the 40 years it has been in power, only need to understand it thoroughly. The way it has understood Ugandans. As long as there are candidates that can defeat those that NRM fear most, those would be favored.
Victoria Bagaya, NBS Live at 9.
Kampala's elected leaders on the spot, and they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted after elections. Let's speak to those who have been in this leadership before and just could maybe throw some perspective on what could be going wrong. Victoria Bagaya joins us live from here, Naguru, and we'll be speaking to Captain Francis Babu. Victoria, take it away.
Well, Kanari Mugume, and to the viewers, Captain Francis Babu is a seasoned leader, and when we talk about matters Kampala, he has been there representing Kampala Central 3 times actually, and I can assure you it's an interesting conversation from just understanding what a difference it would mean for a member of parliament between here in the capital city and the rural areas. Captain, we'll start from there, you know, judging from the roles, representation, legislation, oversight, budget approval, Kavuvo, here in Kampala, how do you rate them, that members of parliament? How have they performed in terms of leadership?
First and foremost, thank you very much. And thank you for having me. I think Kampala is being the city, the capital city of Uganda, and having the different divisions. To me, I would call them boroughs, really. The different divisions with the mayors, and then dividing them further because of the population. The member of parliament has got, is representing a very elite group compared to the rest of the country. You have people in the rural area, you have people in the cities, but Kampala is further divided. If you look at Makindye and Rubaga, it's not the same as Kampala Central. Kampala Central, if you divide it a bit further, you have Kololo, you have Nakasero, you then have Kisenyi, you have something like Kamocha. So Kampala Central, for example, is completely divided. Now, what you do in Parliament, which is for all the members of Parliament, is different from what you would do for the city. Now, you are the link. You are the link between your constituency and the Parliament. In Parliament, because of the numbers now, 529, the debate on the floor does not flow very well because of the time. But now they work into committees. The committees of Parliament have tried and they have worked reasonably well. But what happens in the committees, when it comes to the House, the plenary, it is virtually passed as a rubber stamp because the people do not even have enough time to even amend. It is amended by the committees. Now, that being done is good. Now, the oversight to see what is happening after they have passed the law or passed the budget, to go outside and see how it is being implemented, they have a bit of problem. First of all, the city, you have the Kampala City Council Authority. Then you have the divisional councils. Those ones also have got their function. So now, being a capital city, you also have a capital city, what you call authority minister of Kampala. Now, with all those power centers, you now have a problem of oversight. City Council has got its own directors and how they implement. They've got a council. I am sorry, with a lot of respect, our councillors are not up to the mark. They are not up to the standard. Therefore, the MP has a problem how to relate to the councillors. Now, from there, for example, with the new parish model, a parish model in Kololo would be different from a parish model in Kamocha. A parish model in Kisenyi would be different from a parish model of Nakasero. So you need to sit down and be able, as a member of parliament, how you can work with all these different groups to be able to do. So city has a problem with parliament and how they are going to work together. Now, there is no city in the world that has enough budget. So the minister has to get the executive arm of government to put in money in the city. That money has to go through parliament. You, as the member of parliament, have to make sure the money is channeled to your constituency, which is Kampala. Now you have, I think there are 8 members of parliament.
Yeah, actually, they're now 10.
10.
Yes.
Now, those put together, they are supposed to work together with the councillors and the different groups here. So you have a lot of push and pull. Now, that is on top of personality differences, which are exaggerated in this city.
Captain, if you were to speak to, for instance, now the 2 constituencies that have had their members of parliament incarcerated, what happens to them? You know, where does it leave them? How do we account for those? What in this situation do we do?
What I was trying to tell you, the city council continue to do its work. the divisional council is working, but parliament is not getting the input from those. So the people putting in the input are the ones who are there, who have got similar problems, probably like Rubaga and Makindye. But Kawempe is slightly also different. You need its members of parliament to be there. So you really have a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, they will not perform to the mark because of all those forces which I've talked about. And therefore, to be a member of parliament over the city, you have to be way above normal to be able to work. You have to work with these people. When I was a member of parliament, we used to go all the way up to LC1. Luckily, it is not very big geographically. So you can be able to go to these different groups. For example, Kampala Central has got 136 villages, 20 parishes. You'll be able to go there and talk to the people, especially in those densely populated areas, and find out what their problems are, and make sure that the services go there by working with the city council. For example, when we wanted to build a school in Kamocha, so that kids do not walk all the way to Kitande, we had to work with the Kampala City Council. That time, they bought the land, built the school, and made sure that the children of that area could go to school very easily.
Captain, they are not on ground. They barely speak in the House. How do we make them account?
Problem I'm telling you, because today, members of parliament are not there as leaders. They have gone there for other reasons. And therefore, they find themselves in different places. They want more visibility to be seen that they are members of parliament, but the action is not there. So they let city council do their work instead of them coming up with their work and suggesting to the city council. In fact, they are supposed to sit in the council. When the council is deliberating, members of parliament are supposed to be there. The question is, how many times have they gone there? And when they go there, the councillors don't want to talk to them either.
They can't debate.
Kampala, really, I'm sorry to say, it's very unfortunate. But looking at when our speaker died, the member of parliament of their area, the members of council there, we are debating better than our parliament. They are in the north.
On a scale of 1 to 10, have they performed? Have they failed?
No, they have not performed. The councillors have not performed.
The MPs?
And the MPs, maybe one, but the rest have not.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Kanari Mugume is quite disappointing. Now, that is something we have to follow up. Members of parliament are supposed to sit in some of these council meetings. It is an issue that actually did come up as we interacting with some of the councillors, who, by the way, are from a seasoned leader who has dealt with issues, leadership in this great capital city, Kampala. They can debate where does this leave the nation, where does this leave the quality of debate, and how we can be able to solve the very many and ending issues of Kampala. Back to you at the Political Command Center.
Thanks, Victoria Bagaya, for that interesting interview. And now let's turn on to our opinion question, where we did pose a question to all of you to get your feedback here on Twitter and Facebook. And tonight we ask,
how do you rate the performance of your MP, both in the field and on ground? The hashtag is NBS Live at 9.
Okelo Charles says, leave the issues of MPs to themselves. A person like me, I wait for them when they are back for re-election. I guess he meant stay. I stay in Chira municipality. I will not complain for Semujunganda at all. He's the only MP we trust.
Nikimu Jumu says, you won't believe it, but I do not know my member of parliament. I'm from Padera County, Nebi District.
Kayanja Ben Joseph says, mine, that is Honorable Alan Sewanyana, was imprisoned and we all seem to be not concerned. Anyways, it's a harsh world.
It is indeed. Mhozi Timothy says, good question, but most people do not understand the responsibilities of the Member of Parliament. Opposition MPs have worked because they represent our views and those of some handcuffed NRM members who have to wait and take the party's position on some crucial issues.
And still on Facebook, Joshua Mchisha says Kashari South Member of Parliament could be kidnapped, nowhere to be seen. Please, flying squad, help us out and search for him. I guess that points to Member of Parliament not being on ground. Who is your Member of Parliament? No, it's all right. I get
Rawlings,
it.
no. He's by the name of Rawlings. That's all I
Let's take a break. When we return, more stories coming your way.
More to come, brought to you by Make Your Building a Paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss and high gloss.